Hello.
Hello, welcome to News and 10. Britain has sent army to Egypt since 1882, and today, February the 28th, 1922, Egypt is officially independent. Let's take a look at what's going on in Egypt right now. Jackie, can you hear me? Could you briefly talk about what's going on in Egypt right now?
Yes. As you see behind me, Egyptians are all cheering for their final independence on the street. They keep waving their national flag while singing their national song.
Thank you, Jackie from Egypt. It has been 70 years since Britain has indirectly ruled Egypt. Egypt has been going through 8 years of independence since 1940. Let's take a look at the past period.
Fields of Egypt to talk to some workers about how the British have impacted their production. To better understand the impact the British have had on the Egyptian workers, today I am here with Cleo. So could you start off by telling us what the main differences are working before the British were in control and now working with the British in charge?
Now with the British in charge, they have brought in engineers and contractors to build the first dam across the Nile River. The building of the dam in Upper Egypt has allowed us to grow more crops. Now we can grow 2 to 3 more crops a year.
Can you tell us how the Suez Canal has been affected by the British?
Our debt has been so large that in order to pay some of it off, we have to share shares of the Suez Canal to the British. The British like getting our shares because they want to continue to gain control and power. With the Suez Canal, this will increase their control, especially since it is a good canal for transport.
Welcome, Commander Smith. So glad you could be with us today. We know that there are plans for new, more modernized ways of transportation that will help the military, such as canals, harbors, and roads. But could you expand on this and tell us more about these plans?
Why, of course. Well, first off, we want to get rid of the Ottoman rule, which will allow us to become stronger. So by building these new ways of transport, it will give us advantage militarily. Also allows us to hold more power, which we will use in getting rid of the Ottomans.
Wow, sounds like a plan. Is there any way you could give us an inside look on where these will be built and what we are going to be seeing?
Yes, with me today I actually have designs of the canals, harbors, and railroads that we plan to put into place. They will take place in Egypt, here, like on the map. This will be the public's first look on these plans, so you guys are lucky to see it first. Here we have the design for the canals, and these are examples of the boats that would transport fruities. Here are the harbors that we plan to build. Lastly, the railroads we plan on building will help make transportation much easier.
Today we're here with the British Minister of Finance. Hello. Could you talk about your role and why you were appointed as British Minister of Finance?
Yes, sure. I'm the British Minister. My main role is being in charge of finance, and in particular, I am in charge of finance of Egypt under British control. I was mainly appointed so we could get Egypt out of its great debt. Also, as Britain, we want to gain indirect control throughout Egypt. So being appointed as minister helps us accomplish this.
Looking back to when Britain was threatened by the Ottoman Sultan, What was Britain's response and why?
Well, we did not want to lose the Suez Canal because it was a great way of transport, so we sent an army to Egypt to protect it. We began to implement indirect rule in Egypt, making it look like they were in charge, but really we held most of the power.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Hi, and welcome to BBC Egypt Special. So far, we have seen all the events up to Egypt's independence. Now let's talk about independent Egypt. With me is Farmer Joe. Are you enjoying the independence from Britain?
Of course, as a farmer, I had to work my butt off while getting little in return. All the money went to pay the heavy taxes that the British made us pay.
Oh, I see. I also heard that the British had some offensive traditions. Would you mind saying something about that?
Oh yes, they were so disrespectful toward us Muslims. I always saw the men drinking alcohol and the women had way too much freedom. Sometimes I even wish that Ottomans would rule instead.
Now let's go back to Jane at the BBC World Station.
Peasants from Egypt got high taxes and low incomes, and Egyptians were unhappy with our Western way. Today should be a memorable day for them. Thank you for watching today's BBC News.